Well, no doubt about it. There is a chill in the air and a dangerous chill kind of at that. Hello, everyone. Welcome in on this weather extra as we talk about the extreme cold that is currently over top of the state, and extreme cold warnings extend across the entirety of much of the deep south. Potential for dangerous wind chill values and also those temperatures themselves dipping down. Now, for the temperatures, not quite reaching that criteria here in South Louisiana, but the wind chills certainly dealing with that, as we saw some single digits this morning into the lower teens, and it's kind of the general expectation as we look towards tomorrow as well. So we're going to be watching for that threat to continue. This morning we saw a morning low of 23 here in Baton Rouge. Surprisingly enough, not a record low. And record low was actually 17 for today, but 21 for Macomb, 24 in Hammond, 25 in New Iberia. So basically hard freeze conditions across a majority of our viewing area for this morning. That means that we got to keep those pipes wrapped, but we're going to continue to see hard freeze conditions being possible even as we move into tomorrow. Now, for right now, we are still below freezing in many locations or at the freezing mark. The exception to that is down along the immediate coast. You can see Patterson, Houma, and Galliano a degree or two above freezing, but right now 30 degrees here at the 11 o'clock hour here in Baton Rouge, 32 Hammond, 26 still in Macomb. So we're going to get above freezing. It's just going to take a little bit of time this afternoon to do so, but you can see still feels like the teens in some spots. 17 the feels like temperature in Gonzales, 19 New Iberia, and 14 in Macomb. Feels like 21 degrees right now in Baton Rouge at the airport. So with that said, we're going to be still dealing with these wind chill values kind of in the 20s and below freezing throughout the entirety of the day. And then as we get into the evening hours, you can see how we're back into the 20s for those feels like temperatures as the temperature continues to fall once we get to those evening hours. So again, the feels like temperature doesn't mean anything in terms of freezing conditions, but it's just going to be feeling like freezing or below as we make our way through the remainder of today. So that extreme cold warning remains in place through Tuesday. We're also going to be dealing with hard freeze conditions for Tuesday morning across our area, with freeze durations anywhere from 10 to 18 hours. So once again tonight, we're taking care of the 4 Ps. So we're checking in on people that don't have reliable heat, kind of limiting the time that the little kiddos spend outside for today and tomorrow. Also bringing in any outdoor pets, if you got the bigger livestock, things like that. Just make sure they have adequate shelter and non-frozen water. Also check in on the plants that you may have that you want to try and save. You can either put the heat lamps kind of with them, cover them, bring them inside if they're in portable pots. And then also the pipes. Yeah, we got to continue to worry about that because it's going to be even colder in terms of the air temperature for Tuesday morning as to what we saw for this morning. So if you got through today without any pipe issues, you still may want to consider wrapping them if you haven't already for tomorrow morning, because it will be a couple of degrees colder for tomorrow morning. Exposed pipes outside need to be wrapped. Inside the house, you can maybe consider dripping the faucet. You just need a little drip, 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 that kind of thing. No steady stream of water, and just kind of make sure that your water utility company will allow that, because sometimes they do run into water level issues, associated water pressure issues associated with a lot of people doing that. So the morning low for tomorrow, as I mentioned, a few degrees colder. So we were 23 this morning. We've got the projected low at 20 degrees for tomorrow morning. And notice how we've got the teens kind of up along and north of the interstate corridor. So 18 for Woodville and Macomb, 19 for Clinton and New Roads. Again, surprisingly, not quite record territory. That would be tomorrow's record, 16 degrees back in 1940, but certainly well below where we should be this time of year, which is actually 42 degrees. So how much longer will this Arctic blast be kind of over top of us? Well, we're going to actually start a warming trend by the time we get towards Tuesday morning. So you're going to notice how the Arctic air mass starts to expand farther to the east and northeast. Now, we're still going to be dealing with this northerly wind flow in the mid and upper levels, so we're going to continue with some cold air being in place, but you'll notice a ridge trying to build off towards our west. It's going to be kind of a tug of war between the dip in the jet stream to the east and the ridge off towards the west, but you'll notice another big wave of Arctic air dives south as we get into the end of the week and the weekend, so we are not done with the frigid temperatures just yet, but we will see a little bit of warmth up until that point. So here is a look at projected morning lows over the next 5 days. Again, we've got the first alert still going for tomorrow morning because of that extreme cold warning that is in place. I may have to go back to that first alert heads up as we get into the weekend, because look at that dip in temperature once again as we get towards Saturday. So Wednesday, we're going to be borderline with hard freeze conditions. Probably hard freeze conditions mainly north of the interstate corridor. We're still just going to take the precautions. If you've already got the pipes wrapped, might as well keep them wrapped, because even then we're going to be dealing with hard freeze conditions into the weekend. But you can see we may start to climb back above freezing by Friday morning, but it's only temporary. So just to kind of chilly, raw, and cold winter weather, that is what we are currently dealing with here. And tell you what, not much in terms of relief, at least at this point, as we look towards the extended forecast at this time.
Southern Air of Baton Rouge says no, 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 no interest, no money down, no payments for 12 months on HVAC, plumbing, and electrical services. Scan the QR code on your screen to learn more.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.